Who are we? What makes us human? And what is culture? Why do you think culture is important?
Why do I think culture is important? Because culture is life and culture is who you are, how you think, how you express yourself, and how you react to things.
文化当然重要，文化代表一个国家的历史，代表他们一路走来的痕迹，代表他们的人文素养、人文的美学，像艺术啊，像音乐啊。一个国家、一个民族如果没有文化，那就没有什么吸引力了。
Right, culture is who we are.
Okay.
What makes people unique, what they value, what's important.
I suppose culture is a way to express oneself, express ideas. So it's a vehicle to do that.
Culture is important because no, culture is not important.
I don't know.
Because that's how you grow bacteria.
When I say I am from Taiwan, what do you attribute to that? I am Asian, so I'm good at math. I have slanted eyes, but is that all? Behind every face, there is a diverse and rich history of how he or she came to be. We will make 3 stops in history, 2 modern, and 1 dating thousands of years in the past. Let's take us to a part of the world that we define as Austronesia. Austronesians have generally similar physical traits such as high skulls and also speak similar languages, and possess a shared culture inherited from their ancestors, as well as facing common contemporary issues. Studies have shown Austronesian communities responding collectively to the challenges of modernization. The Austronesian people originated in Taiwan around 8,000 years BC. According to the Out of Taiwan model, expansion to other islands began around 5,000 to 2,500 BC, fueled by migrational growth. They first settled in the Philippines, the Luzon archipelago. They intermingled with the Melanesian people, who were there 31,000 years prior to today. They continued south to Indonesia through the Celebes Sea. By 1200 BC, they have reached Melanesia, and by 500 AD to Micronesia. Eventually, they even got as far as Madagascar. The Austronesian people also sailed east to the Pacific Islands to discover Polynesia during 1000 BC. They moved to Easter Islands by 300 AD, Hawaii by 400 AD, and New Zealand at 800 AD. The next stop is a well-respected entrepreneur, filmmaker, part-time teacher, and advocate for indigenous children. His name is Tony Coolidge. He was born in Taipei to a Taiwanese mom and American father. They immigrated to America, and he was raised as an American citizen since 3. He knew little of his mother's heritage, other than the fact that she was Taiwanese and that she missed home. She was diagnosed with cancer, and they moved to Florida to battle the illness, and she lost that battle when she was 44 years old. She never got the opportunity to return to her home. Finally, on May of 1995, he was granted an opportunity to make a trip back to Taiwan. There, he returned to his mother's home, and he was greeted with passion by relatives, even those who were there when he was 3. He was shocked by his newly found heritage. He researched and found very little resources in English about Taiwanese indigenous people. He started an NGO in America called Atayal, with the mission to bring that knowledge to America.
Every indigenous culture has much to teach all human beings. When indigenous culture and language disappear, we lose a lot of knowledge. So I think we miss a big part of what makes us human beings when we lose an indigenous culture, when we lose touch with that. So I think it's extremely important, more so than most people realize. When I brought the tribe from Taiwan to meet Native Americans, you could see in their faces the similarities, and they just embraced each other and hugged, and tears were flowing down their faces. It was like a long lost family reunion.
Compared to the Han, indigenous people are also culturally more free in expressing emotion. The Han Chinese were taught at an early age to not express emotion, thus decreasing the amount of creativity, while indigenous people have more creativity and freedom to explore the modern realm, such as clothing as well as music. According to Mr. Coolidge, the biggest challenge faced by indigenous people today is that they need more economic opportunity to help them use their own resources rather than let other people, outsiders, use them. They should control their own finances. Another insight is 85 to 95% of Taiwanese people are indigenous by DNA. The KMT, the Japanese, told us we are not. The Highlanders and the Lowlanders are essentially the same in ethnicity, but the Lowlanders were changed due to intermarriage with the Han Chinese. Because the Highlanders were the slowest to receive change, they are also given the least opportunities. We promote a class distinction from our own grouping. This Taiwanese experience can be seen in other countries depending on the dominating countries as well. Spain dominated the Philippines from 1521 to 1898. Spain changed the culture of the Philippines around with new religion, new towns, and new buildings. The Philippines was set as a trading post for Asian countries. Many of these problems revolve around the offset of education. This will be the final stop. Students at public Taiwanese schools often lack the creativity, motivation, and the concept of expressing emotion due to being taught so at an early age. One of the prominent problems revolving around indigenous children in Taiwan is they lack the opportunities for education due to their geographic disadvantage. One of the prominent problems revolving around indigenous children in Taiwan is they lack the opportunities for education due to their geographic disadvantage. Some programs in Taiwan are already revolving around helping children at this disadvantage, teaching them through physical volunteerism as well as using the internet to connect the regions that are hard to get to. The TWYN, hosted by Zonta International in Taiwan with a collaboration of the Youth Knowledge Network Taiwan, encourages action plans and then executes them. The Cyber-Real Cyber model was created to help indigenous children and had since become the source of inspiration for young people. The coursework includes courses from digital processing to presentation mediums, from Chinese and English lessons to web design and hosting their own blogs that track their progress. Indigenous people seem to have a stronger tie to what it seems to be human, a human connected to Earth. Middle school students are often the victim of a one-sided education system, which causes different sides and perspectives to be lost. The variety of perspective is important, as this allows a greater perspective of culture, which is important because human beings are able to connect to their past and have a stronger foundation to pursue a successful future. So who are we, and what does it mean to be human? I believe that to be human, it is based upon our ability to empathize with others. The importance of this aspect can be demonstrated through Mr. Coolidge's examples, when indigenous people of different regions may share a language or even similar looks. They have the ability to empathize with each other. Whenever or wherever you are, when you are exposed to a new part of culture, accept it and make it part of yourself. I believe that this small thing can change the world we live in and how we interact with each other. We should not live in a world where people think that they cannot show who they are, hide their value, their ethnicity, their culture. When this happens, slowly but surely, valuable parts of humanity is lost, only to be recorded in history textbooks. We should live in a world that is open-minded to the diversity that is around us. The importance of culture can be seen through us. History should not live in books, but live in us. And that, I believe, is how culture makes us human.